Okay, we're just going to look at how to tie in with a figure of 8 knot, how to make the figure of 8 and then how to tie it into your harness. So to start, we've got the end of our climbing rope here. You're going to need an arm to nose amount of rope. And to make the initial part of the re-threaded figure of 8, you're going to hold this with the end, pass it over your hand, and then you want to grip this with your thumb to hold the position. And that's really important, so that when you bring the tail end round and you pass it down through that knot and you pull it through, you end up with the correct amount of tail end here now. So that now is arm to nose. So if I just undo that section again and just show you that. Cool, so that's the first bit of the figure of 8, and it's really important just to keep your thumb on this all the time, and then you end up with the right amount here, because that's the first stage and you need enough to get it through your harness and tie all this without running out of the right amount. Okay, so now I'm going to thread onto my harness. I like to thread up so I can see what I'm doing, round the solid bit of your leg loop, round the solid bit of your harness. Pull it all the way in, and then we need to re-thread this to get the figure of 8 sort of completed. And we're going to try and make this loop the same size as our abseil loop. So where the rope comes from your harness, you're going to follow this end through. And you want to try and make this as neat as you can. So I'm now going to try and keep this parallel all the way around until it comes out the other end. Okay, so you go through a hole, round a corner, through a hole, round a corner, and out the end. Here we go. So once you've finished with that figure of 8 knot and you've tied in like that, it should be the same size as your abseil loop. It makes it really good to have those the same size. And can you see how this is neat? 2, 4, 6, 8. Now to finish that off, I've got a nice long tail end there. I want to do something with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie a stopper knot, or a double fisherman's. I'd like to call it a thumb knot, because I'm going to tie it round my thumb. So I'm going to take this end, I'm going to go over my nail and round, over my knuckle, and it makes a little X shape there. Come round again, poke the end through. Now at this point, when you pull this end tight, you want to snug this right up against your figure of 8. You must never have a gap there. So as I pull this end out that way, I'm going to rotate this knot in. So if you watch, so that now is nice and snug. There's no gap here, and I've got just enough to get my hand on here with the tail end sticking out. So there's a completely finished off figure of 8 knot. If I was going to be climbing on there now, I always check the harness and the loops are the same size, and I've got enough sticking out. How to tie on to a figure of 8.